JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, happy hump day, everybody. Yeah. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's #1 private investigation agency. You can reach them at emerginginv.com. We got a great show for you today. Once again, the Rays split a doubleheader, a lot of incredibly dramatic moments. We'll talk about that as we move through the day. JC Allen's going to join us at 10:30 from the Pewter Report. He's got a new show with Antoine Winfield over there at Pewter Report. We'll talk a little bit about the Dallas game, look ahead to the Saints game. John Gerber, PGA Pro and gambler extraordinaire, will join us once again. He had a winner last week. Making money on this, folks. If you take the bets, you're going to make money. We're making all kinds. We gave you the Bucs and the under. Come on now. But the highlight of the day we're going to start with is the great Dave Mishkin, who joins us here. Play-by-play man for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and boy, do we have a big announcement to make here. He was up early this morning over at 102.5 The Bone. Good morning, Dave Mishkin. How are you, sir? I'm well. Hold on. We're having a little bit of issue with your audio. Stand by. Are you there? I'm there. Check. Hold on one second. We're still having a little bit of One more time. This is great live radio, by the way. It's fantastic. In fact, we're not on the radio because we're streaming it. Where is this sound coming from that I can hear him, but I can't hear him on my...
I think I might have figured it out here.
All right.
Can you hear us, Dave?
I hear you guys.
There we go. Fantastic. That's what we do now. We just start touching buttons until we hear sound. It's
always the one button that's in the far left-hand corner, right?
It was, in fact, the
one
that
says
button.
Don't touch this button, right? That's the one.
Yeah.
An inauspicious start to this interview. But we have big news. You guys were over at 102.5 The Bone this morning with Mike Calta, with your buddy Phil Esposito, with a huge announcement that we've been working on for quite some time, as they will become the official station now of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Very excited about this. And I'm sure you are too, because now your voice will be heard from Lakeland to Newport Richie to Naples. It is an incredible signal. What are your thoughts, Mitch?
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember, JP, in the days that I worked in the minor leagues, when it was a job that entailed more than just broadcasting. So I was the person having to make sure that we had a deal with a radio station.
Right.
And you never knew what you were necessarily going to get. Like, sometimes you found an enthusiastic partner, but the station just didn't have a strong enough signal. Or maybe you could find a station with a strong enough signal, but they were not an enthusiastic partner. And I think what's great about this deal is we have an enthusiastic partner with a tremendous signal. And if you don't have a big signal, that's not the end of the world.
Right.
It just means that you have to do more work to build a radio network to kind of plug the holes, so to speak. When you have a monster signal, you don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So it's great for us. It's great for the station, and it's most importantly great for Lightning fans.
Yeah, that's the good thing, because I know a lot of fans when they're, especially folks who are leaving the game because the 970 signal's not that great at night in certain places, and they couldn't hear your post game or if they, when they're driving around listening to the game and listening to you and Phil, same thing. I mean, I'm usually working the home games, but the away games, I listen to you guys a lot, and being able to listen now on 102.5 is going to be awesome. And also because they're the number one station in the marketplace. And it's kind of a different audience that maybe the Lightning haven't been reaching, so to speak. And it's not just about the game broadcast, it's about everything else too, right? So I think this is a way for Lightning to reach out maybe to Bucs and Rays fans as well, if they're not, already Lightning fans. You agree?
Well, look, maybe I'm coming from a biased perspective, which I fully acknowledge and admit up front. But I think if you are going to talk about sports on the radio in the Tampa Bay market, I don't know how you can not talk about the Lightning based on what this team has done over the last decade. But yes, you are right. When you are actually partnered with the Lightning, I think you have even more of an incentive to talk about what's going on. And I think that kind of cross promotion, because it's not just the Bones, the other stations in the Cox building. And I got to meet a lot of the hosts this morning. Phil and I were over there, like you mentioned. So we weren't just in the one studio. We visited all the studios. So those are a lot of stations that are going to be talking about the Lightning, maybe even more than they were before. So all of that is a real positive.
Yeah. What was kind of the vibe you got over there? I mean, I'm not saying that the Lightning don't have a huge fan base here. Obviously they do. But the Dove is not necessarily would be considered. It's like one of the number one stations in terms of ratings, but I don't think they were talking a lot about the Lightning before, but they will be now. Is that kind of the vibe you get?
Well, the vibe I got is great excitement from everybody in the building, including the morning host on the Dove. Yeah. So maybe she is not talking about the Lightning on the air, although she may be now, but she was very excited to meet Phil and I would say excited, maybe a little less excited, but still excited to meet me.
Of course.
And that's what you really want to see, enthusiasm and excitement. This is a new opportunity for them. It's not just a new opportunity on the Lightning side. And, I think that they're really happy to have one of the major sports teams now, be under their roof, so to speak. Yeah. So why wouldn't they be excited?
Exactly. Yeah. And Mike Calta, I'm sure, is thrilled. He talks a lot about the Lightning. I know he always has.
And we were on with Mike for probably a good half an hour this morning. It's been a while since I've really done that sort of talk radio where it's as much a conversation as question and answer. Right. A lot of times when you go on sports stations, I'm getting direct questions and answering those questions. And even if I come on with you, we have a conversation, but a lot of times, you're kind of teeing me up questions. That was just a different feel, which was neat because I haven't done that a lot. But if you're doing all talk about a variety of different topics, I think it does need to be very conversational. And that's what we had. The three of us had a conversation.
Yeah, that's the way I try to make it when you come on as well, because I just think it makes for much more entertaining talk. And one of the other things that I think is going to emerge more now that people don't know about is 102.5 has a secondary signal. It's 102.5.2. It's an HD signal. It's very easily accessible on any car made after 2016. You can get this. All you got to do is dial it in, put it in your presets. And we're going to have a whole other station that we can program now with podcasts. You and Greg do the lunchtime with the Lightning, which is fantastic. That needs to get a lot more exposure. I love that show. So we haven't programmed it yet, but that's obviously going to be part of it. There's other sports talk shows that we can do on that network. We can do game replays. We can do podcasts. We can do individual interviews and sit downs with the players to give them much more exposure. I mean, that's what I'm really excited about with that whole secondary signal, which is going to boom to all those places we already talked about. That Lightning fans and Rays fans and Bucs fans will have another option to listen to sports talk and listen to a whole other genre of different content. I'm excited about that. I hope you're a big part of it.
Yeah, and with good reason, JP. I think one of the biggest challenges, particularly in the media market today, when everything, maybe not everything, but a lot is a la carte. Yeah. And you can pick and choose. And it's great to have that many options. But if you are the one providing the a la carte material, I think one of the biggest challenges is providing a roadmap for the people to find you. Yeah. Because we are way past the days, like on television when you and I were growing up, there were three channels, right? Plus PBS.
Or you got a bonus and maybe UHF some. Maybe.
Yeah, and like, you had your local regional, like in Boston, we had Channel 38, and they aired the Bruins games.
Right.
But basically, you had your three networks, and that's where you went. Now, I mean, how many options do people have? They have so many options. So if you are creating content and there is an audience for your content, I think you have to find a way to direct people there. You almost have to spoon feed them there at the beginning until it becomes muscle memory. And I think that this HD station is going to provide great content, but it's our job to make sure people understand how to get there, right? That's not really my job description, but I think that we are going to do that. And I believe that when Lightning fans go there, they're not going to want to leave that station.
Right, exactly.
Because the content is going to be A+ stuff, as you know.
Yes.
So it's just a different world now. But we still have as they call it, terrestrial radio, right? And if you're going to have your games on terrestrial radio, you do want to be on a station with a really powerful signal, so that you don't have to worry about an internet connection. And if you get in your car and you put the radio on, you might drive for an hour and you're not going to lose the signal.
Exactly.
That's a really, appealing prospect for a sports team.
And it's a rich, big FM signal. It's not an AM signal. I know AM signals are a little bit better, but the rich FM signal to hear your voice and Phil, to me, it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, it's sometimes it's hard to listen to the tintiness, but you were going to get this full fledged. I think I got an idea. You know how we do those Lightning flag giveaways where people drive up, we give them a flag that was so popular during COVID.
Yeah.
So we'll do the same thing, Mish, and then we'll just reach inside their car and we'll program it for them to go, boom, here's a Lightning flag. And we'll program your radio and off you go. You don't have to worry about just lock it in. It's all you need right there.
Well, and honestly, like this HD is a great tool because, in the past we've been available digitally, which means that you had to connect your phone through your Bluetooth, and it can be done. Like I could do it. I'm talking about, when we were known as Lightning Power Play, and we may still be known as that. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but it can be done. But for people just putting on the radio, that's like transferring people from paper tickets to mobile ticketing, right? Like you almost need to have a tutorial to get people used to it. And then once they're used to it, it's not an issue at all. But if you can actually get the games on the quote unquote dial, as it was known, and let people know this is where we are and this is how you can reach us, and all you have to do is turn your car on and it's going to automatically come on. That's a really kind of way to make it a smooth transition, particularly when you're switching stations.
Yeah, and I think Dave Mishkin joining us, by the way, Lightning play-by-play man. And that's the great part about it is the Lightning have so many and all the stations over in the Cox Group, I'm sure we'll be promoting it as well, telling people how to do it. It's not rocket science. We can all do it. It's not hard at all. But it's going to be so great and we're not just going to talk Lightning over there. We're going to talk Bucs. We're going to talk Rays. It's going to be it's going to be the whole Tampa Bay, obviously Lightning centered, obviously, but it's going to be something where we can get into a lot of different areas. And I think that's going to help grow the Lightning audience. I really do. Because I get this all the time, believe it or not, Mish. There are Lightning fans, there are Rays fans and Bucs fans that aren't really Lightning fans. They just maybe they don't like hockey. They're still that way. Mm-hmm. But I think this is going to be another way, and especially with the different audience that we're reaching over there at Cox Media, that's a whole new tent. That we're kind of myopic. I know we're very Lightning centered. We think everybody knows about the Lightning, but it's not necessarily the case. The Rays ratings are bigger than the Lightning's ratings, but we're going to bring a lot of those fans over, to enjoy what's going on in Lightning. I think that's a great opportunity for the organization. I really do.
Yeah, and what I got out of this morning's visit, JP, I already knew about how excited everybody was on the Lightning side, but just how enthusiastic everyone was on the Cox Media side. Yeah. Look, I mean, we don't know exactly how all of this is going to unfold, but when you have two committed partners who have the Lightning have the pedigree as an organization, and Cox has has the setup and the ratings and the signal.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a great partnership.
All right, I know you got to go do some great stuff over at the hospital with your dog, which I think is awesome. We'll talk about that another time. But just give me a minute on where you think you're headed into Lightning with preseason. I think it's going to be a while until we're at full strength with some of the injured guys coming back. But I'm really excited to see a lot of the new guys' faces and see how they all work into the lineup. I know you are as well.
Yeah, I am. And look, I think even some of the guys that came last year, talking about Hagel and Paul, like now they're going to get Nick Paul was outstanding last year. I'm not implying that he wasn't, and Hagel certainly contributed. Remember how well he played with Killorn and Cirelli as a shutdown line, really until Cirelli got injured so badly that they just weren't able to do what they had done before. But now they're going to get a full training camp under their belt. And yes, Cirelli is going to be out at the start of the year. The Lightning are going to have to integrate some newer players. You're going to look at Sergachev probably taking more minutes. I mean, I would expect, without knowing exactly how it's going to unfold, he's going to kind of slot into the role that McDonough had filled as that left defenseman. We'll see. But I think that the Lightning understand that getting off to a good start allows you to keep your chin above the water level.
Yep.
So even as they are integrating new players and waiting for injured players to get back, there is going to be urgency to ensure that they don't fall behind the 8 ball. Because it is tough, man. Like if you start slowly, you are going to be digging yourself out of that hole for weeks, if not months. And having to play an exceptionally high level just to kind of get off to a better start. Yeah. So that's kind of where my mind is at the start of your life. And sure, at least keeping pace as you kind of get into the middle part of the season, let's say, past those early days.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We'll talk more about the actual on ice product as we get closer to it. But congratulations, Mish. That goal call is going to be even clearer and louder. And will it be louder since it's a bigger signal? I don't know. I'm not sure how that works, but it's going to be fantastic.
Me neither.
It's going to be fantastic, man. I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks for jumping on with us this morning, Mish. Appreciate it.
Sure, JP. I'll talk to you soon. And see you soon.
Yes,
bye.
Absolutely. The great Dave Mishkin there, man. I'm jacked up, bro. We've got a lot of good things coming here, and I think a lot of people in this market. And I may be jumping ahead a little bit here, whether this is going to be a full-fledged sports station, but we've had these conversations at the Lightning, and we want to open up the tent, and yes, the Lightning have sold out 3 gazillion games in a row, but they never want to stop gaining fans and reaching out to fans. And there's still a lot of folks out there that maybe have not jumped on the Lightning bandwagon all the way. And I think this is a great way to reach those folks. And I think it's also a great way to, give people another option for sports talk in this marketplace. Besides, obviously we're doing that with this show right here. And there's a lot of other great podcasts we tell you about all the time. And the podcasts do very, very well in this market because, quite frankly, there's a lot of people looking for other alternatives than the only sports station in town. There's just a lot better content out there, and we're going to give it to them. So we're really looking forward to that. So, and I'd like to get some great feedback from you guys as well. At FanStream JP, your thoughts on that? You can always join us on the YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in the JP Peterson Show. You'll go right to it. Please subscribe, by the way, and like it. We got to get our numbers up there as well. And I'd love to get some feedback from you and what you'd like to see, because we're actively in the process of programming this secondary channel. So let us know what you're looking for, what you want to hear. Lightning shows, player shows, coaches shows, Ray shows, Bucs shows. What are you interested in? Just more all-encompassing sports talk. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. Your thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, I think it's great for the market, obviously, and it's a great opportunity to get it on an FM station, because I was telling you, it's like, sometimes I'll try to listen to like the Lightning, and like I'm out in Fishhawk now.
Yeah.
Before then I was in Valrico, so not too far away, and I'd turn on like the FM station, and it's hard to get it in. It comes
95.3 doesn't go much outside.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a little hard to get it in, so you have to listen to it on the radio voice, and that's fine. I mean, again, I go around it usually just to get the app. but then you're obviously delayed from the real-time action a little bit, and it's a little bit harder to access, but not too hard. But I get that for some people. So it's great. I mean, obviously USF, they announced their deal, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago? So they're on there as well, which is good for them. So yeah, it's a win-win for the Tampa Bay area, I think.
Yeah, I'm very excited about what the future holds over there at 102.5, and I know they are too. I've had a lot of conversations with the guys over there, and they're absolutely thrilled to be part of the Lightning family.
And the biggest thing, the most important thing to me, and I think a lot of people shared this, is when we read the press release, please just make sure that Dave and Phil are still on the call. I think that was the most important thing.
Yeah, it's never going to change.
Is please make sure they're on the call, because that's one thing I'll tell you about every single Rays, Bucks, Lightning, the guys on the radio, 10 out of 10, every single group of them, I would say.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. So I want to keep that together.
Oh, that ain't going to, and you're going to hear more of them.
Yeah.
And you're going to hear them more clearly, and you're going to be able to hear them on your way home and from the games and going to the games and in a rich FM signal. And this was from the press release today. I wanted to read some of this. This is from Tampa Bay Lightning put this out today. And this is from Mark Pitts, who's the new chief operating officer there at Vinnick Sports Group. As we continue to grow our brand and fan base throughout the state, the Lightning are excited to partner with Cox Media Group to provide Bolts fans throughout Central Florida and beyond the opportunity to hear all games on 102.5 The Bone. As the exclusive professional Tampa Bay sports team with Cox Media Group, we look forward to providing our fans with unfiltered access to all things Lightning, inclusive of our great game broadcasts on The Bone, sports talk, and other news programming across all Cox platforms. We'd like to thank Keith Lawless, Jason Meter, and the entire group at Cox for their support, and look forward to a great partnership. Will greatly benefit Bolts Nation in Tampa Bay and beyond. And just to remind you, as they put in the press release, a best-in-class product, 102.5 Bone. The Bone is number one with both adults and men in the 25 to 54 demographic. Their other iHeart station is number 19 or 20 consistently in the ratings. 19 or 20. Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. through midnight each week. The consistent success attracting the most passionate audience in Florida is made possible at the station's well-rounded lineup of all-star talent, starting with iconic morning host Mike Calta to the dynamic Drew Garabo live in the afternoon. The Bones programming provides a proper lead-in to the most exciting sports broadcast in Tampa Bay. So, yeah, they have a huge, huge audience over there. It's 4 times what they have at 620, and it's talk radio. So it's not all sports talk, obviously, but they do talk a lot of sports, and they're going to talk even more Lightning. So a very exciting time for Tampa Bay. And I think, and as he mentioned in there, they are the exclusive professional team in the Cox Media Group. And quite frankly, with the Rays and the Bucs over at iHeart, the Lightning were always treated as third-class citizens. And that's just, they would be pushed off to other stations when there was conflicts, and it's just, it's not going to be that way anymore. And I think it's a big reason why they're not at iHeart anymore. And I think it's great for Lightning fans, and it's good for the Lightning organization, no question about that. All right, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get into the Rays. They split the doubleheader on the road. Usually that's a good thing, but the way the whole thing went down, you kind of left you with a sour taste in your mouth. So we'll relive yesterday's both games and talk a little bit about where this leaves the Rays as they move forward into the postseason. It's the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigations, emerginginv.com. Back in 3.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, one unit, primary return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought this hour by Emerging Investigations, emerginginv.com. If you're having trouble with your spouse, maybe think they're cheating or hiding something, they can help you out and get you some great information. If you have a criminal matter, insurance adjusters out there, if you need someone to look into insurance fraud, they do a great job of that. A lot of attorneys use them for that. So there's a lot of different things. If you have missing persons, or anything you need to find out in terms of a private investigator, emerginginv.com is the place to go. Just call them up, have a great conversation with them. Rachel over there D'Antonio will answer the phone and she'll tell you all about it. Very easy conversation, how it works, what the cost is, and maybe if they can help you or they can't help you. They'll be very honest about that. But if you have some issues and you're just wondering, it's a real easy call. Just go to their website, read all about it, emerginginv.com, and give them a call. Tell them you heard it on the JP Show and they will help you out. Also brought to you by Jeeves Law Group. Jeeves Law Group. That's Jeeves Law Group. They sponsored our trip to Dallas. Big appreciation for that. They have offices in Dallas and in Tampa Bay if you need any legal help. One thing they've been helping a lot of folks with lately is with their car insurance companies. If you've had your car totaled out or had a big settlement in the last few years and you don't think you got what you deserve, that's something that the insurance companies have been doing for years and years and years, and you're left with a lot of extra cost after your car gets totaled. Well, you have a case. So go to jeeveslawgroup.com and you'll get the phone number there, or you can send them an email and they will contact you. Very easily done. jeeveslawgroup.com. That's one of the many things they can do to help you. Personal injury, a lot of different things. We'll have Scott Jeeves on from time to time. He's a huge Gator fan, and we'll talk Gator football, but also we'll take your questions about cases that they can help you with. And there's a lot out there that they can really help you with that a lot of people don't know they can sue for and get money for. So we're going to really help educate the public in that way. Appreciate them sponsoring us as well. All right, so the Rays drop a doubleheader, and it wasn't pretty in the second game. First game, obviously, they did a nice job, but the second game, Jonathan Aranda comes up and gives him a go-ahead home run, which goes opposite way. Very excited about him, by the way, getting him up into this lineup as they go through September and the postseason. And also, the bullpen has been great all year long. We know that. But Colin Poche was not good last night. He came in after the Rays take the lead and gives up 4 runs in 5 batters, a double to Merriweather, and then a home run to Springer. And he was just missing his location, was not good. And we've seen that way too much.
Yeah, and we knew it right away, by the way. We knew it right away when I was watching the broadcast. I think he hit the first batter, right? I think. And Brian Anderson made a point to say on the broadcast, he doesn't have it right now. He could tell. And he's like, yeah, Kevin Cash is going to get somebody going in the bullpen because his command's not there. He knew that after a few pitches. And boy, was he right. But because of the new rule in baseball, you have to face at least 3 batters. And that came back to bite the Rays in the ass last night. And to give up the home run to Springer, I actually had just walked away from the TV. I just had walked away, but I heard it. And all I hear was Dwayne go, and there's a drive. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me, man.
Yeah, very reminiscent of the Bo Bichette the night before.
It was. And it's one of those things, I thought the Rays, they get the first game out of their way, a great victory. The second one, I thought they were honestly going to, at one point, I thought they were going to cruise to a nice victory. I mean, the play by Jose Siri in the outfield.
Yeah.
Early in the game, by the way, I was like, okay, these guys are jacked up to play. They want to get out of here with 2 wins. And unfortunately, the bats went quiet at some point in the game. And hard to blame the Rays. Manoah is a tough get. He is. And the fact that G-Man Choi was able to get off of his little his slump there.
Yeah.
And then Aranda to go opposite field, which, like you said, very excited to see him down the stretch. But yeah, Colin Poche, I feel like we've seen him in these spots more often than not this year. And I know he's had moments where he's been great, but his lows are very low for this team, and he has cost this team some victories, and he just did not have it last night.
Yeah, it just seems like we have better options at times.
Well, here, I'll bring this up, by the way, and I know you don't want to hear this, but it's just a truth. There was another left-handed pitcher who's not with the Rays right now because of the vaccination rules, and that's Brooks Raley. And in that situation, they probably would have wanted to go to Brooks Raley there. Let's just be honest. It is what it is. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole.
But I get a sense that you blaming the player. It's not the player's problem. It's
not blaming the
team's problem.
It's
Toronto's problem.
It goes both
Canada's
ways.
problem.
It goes both ways. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm just pointing that out, that Brooks Raley was unavailable. So then the only lefty you have to really go to in that situation is Colin Poche.
Stupid rule, especially now. You're continuing this ridiculousness. But, it hurt the team, no doubt about it. Maybe it's an advantage that Toronto is enjoying because every team that goes up there can't field their full complement of players, which is complete bullshit. But
and the flip side of that, is like, regardless of what happened at the end, you can't score 2 runs against the Blue Jays and expect to win many games. That's just the way it is. Their offense is too good at the moment. They're red hot right now. They've been playing great baseball like the Rays. Bo Bichette has heated up at the right time. He's like the hottest hitter in baseball right now, I think I saw. So, these are tough games, but now it's like, we got 2 more games against the Blue Jays.
Yep.
2 more games. And again, in the series, I don't know if that's doable, to be honest, at the moment, but the Rays will have some of their better arms going, so that'll give them a shot, but you got to hit better.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, we'll get more into the Rays. We're going to take a quick break, real quick before we take the break. Richie P on our conversation about 102.5 The Bone and the new station, 102.5.2 that's coming your way. I like the idea of having options. Always good to have solid, qualified people talking about the sports teams you like. And, when you look at the roster of people that are working for Vinnick Sports Group, it's just not all the Dave, Phil Esposito, but Dave Andrewchuk, Hall of Famer. Derek Brooks works over there, by the way. I mean, just go down the list. So many people, good, talented people over there that are going to be able to contribute. It's going to be great. It's going to be really, really good. All right, quick break. When we come back, speaking of informed folks and talented folks, JC Allen's going to join us from the Pewter Report, talk about his new show with Antoine Winfield, and we'll talk about the Bucs win over Dallas, look ahead to their game against the Saints. Stay with us. JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and valid homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigations, Emerging INV, Tampa Bay's #1 private investigation agency. You can reach them at emerginginv.com, and by Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. All right, let's bring in our good friend JC Allen from the Pewter Report, who has a new show of his own, a new podcast of his own. What's up, JC? Tell us all about it. How are you?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Happy to be here. Chop up some football with y'all. Touchback Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, me and Antoine Winfield Jr. will be sitting down. We'll be talking about the game that was, the game that is, and a little fun to get that off the ground and running and brought to the fans and give them a little insight of what he was going through in certain plays and during the game.
Yeah, awesome. I didn't catch the first show, I think, which was yesterday, but I got to chat with Antoine in the locker room afterwards, and he and Carlton were having a little bit of beef because that was Carlton's pick, that was his man, and Winfield very, very. I mean, I can't believe he did this. Walks right over and steals it from him. I mean, that's just not good team football. I mean, although it's good.
I asked him about that too. I was like, did Carlton say anything to you after? Because you kind of just jumped right. He's like, yeah, he did. Carlton's been trying to get those picks up to get some Pro Bowl recognition.
Right.
But his speed and athleticism to break on the ball, it's better that Antoine caught it than not catching it at all. So, Carlton has been working tremendously hard on his hands. But, we've seen him drop some of those easy ones a few times. So, in the end game, you take the pick over a potential pick any day of the week, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We just because but that just goes to show you. I think what Todd Bowles realized in the offseason watching Antoine play is that this guy has incredible instincts for the football, and having him 20 yards off the ball to start every play is probably not a good idea. get him in the mix, get him down near the line of scrimmage so he can do a lot of different things a la Rondé Barber. I think the two of them share a lot of traits, quite frankly, and that's a great compliment to Antoine. So I talk a little bit about that aspect of the coaching staff, putting him in better positions to make plays.
Yeah, I mean, what Bulls did and what Jason Light did when they constructed this roster, they wanted athleticism and versatility all over the place. And you get that on the defensive line with a guy like Logan Hall and Akeem Hicks. And then, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and Shaq Barrett can play on either side of the defensive alignment, where JPP preferred that right now. So you've got that versatility. JTS can kick into the inside on some passing downs as well. And then the backfield, bringing in Logan Ryan really kind of helps utilize Antoine Winfield Jr. in that slot situation, where you have a guy who's a veteran of the league, has played in the slot, has played as an outside corner, has played as a free safety, and you can put your best matchup out there, which is going to be that free safety look. You look at how much they played out of the nickel in that game against Dallas. It was a lot, and and we saw results from it. 4 sacks by the defense, interception, pass deflections, lockdown coverage. CeeDee Lamb only had 2 catches on 11 targets. So having those three safeties back there who are interchangeable, can play nickel, can play free, can play strong. It allows them to get more creative, it allows them to get more versatile, and it allows them to match up against opponents in different ways, and also disguise in different ways that can throw quarterbacks off. So, and Todd Bowles has 3 safeties on the field. I mean, I'm sure he's not happy about that, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. But I think that's the way defense is going. And if you look back at the great Bucs defenses of the past, that Tampa 2, it wasn't just the Tampa 2. There was so many variations that play off of that. They didn't have to change personnel, right? Because when you change personnel, you dictate to the offense what you're going to do from a defensive standpoint.
Right.
If you've got versatile players and you could do 10 different defenses with the same personnel, that really puts a stress on the offense to try to figure out what you're doing. And like you said, in disguising defenses, which is such a huge part of football, right? If they don't know what coverage you're in, they don't know where the blitzes are coming from, and so many guys can do so many different things. That's what the 99 defense was about. That's what the 02 defense was about. That's what they were so good at doing. And I think Bowles is kind of using those same concepts with this defense. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, again, you hit the nail on the head. The more versatile it can be, the less personnel that you're changing in and out of the game and showing different looks is just an advantage to the defense. When you have guys who can do multiple things, line up in multiple positions. I mean, you saw, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka almost had an interception, and he was dropped well back in the coverage, like 10 yards back in the coverage there. So when you have guys who are athletic enough, versatile enough, and can make plays at all over the field at every different level, it allows you to be unpredictable. And what's the one thing that an offense doesn't like is unpredictability from a defense. You watch them on tape, you study them, you look at tendencies, and then they show you a completely different look than what you're expecting. That's going to throw quarterbacks off. And I think that with the personnel that they have on this defense, they're going to be able to do different looks and change up different ways as they approach games and matchups on a weekly basis. And while we might not see this look that we just saw this past week against the Saints, it might be something different that they're not expecting. So, Bowles loves having versatile players. He hasn't really been able to run the scheme that he's wanted to with the personnel that was there. This offseason, Jason Light and the coaching staff made it a point to bring in players that fit exactly how he wants to run his defense to a T. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing early results, 3 points, turnover, Then should pick 6 times. Think it should have an interception. Yes. There's another play that 3 guys were around the ball and no one came up with it. Yep. We're looking at potentially 4 turnovers and 4 sacks right there to go with the 4 sacks. So this defense has the makings of being one of the top units in the NFL, and we saw that glimmers of that on Sunday night.
Yeah, we're on the same page. JC Allen here, Pewter Report, joining us. I was just going to ask you that, if Antoine mentioned how many more, after they watched the tape, how many more interceptions, turnovers they thought they should have had, because I was going to pinpoint that number at 4. And that's why, you look at the score and it just wasn't indicative of how dominant the performance was by the Buccaneers. Obviously red zone offense was an issue. Gronk, where are you? But it was the defense is what I've kind of been talking about all off season, because everybody wants to gravitate towards Brady in the offense. I get it, the big names over there, but it's this defense that's going to win this championship this year. And I think their first salvo was tremendous on every level, and I think it's only going to get better. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you look at the defense did their thing, and I think the offense, they're in the red zone and had to settle for field goals. The only time they didn't get in that red zone for those field goals, obviously they had the missed one. There was a 33-yard field goal shot. So they were right there on every time, and they're gonna ban it. Tom's gonna look at that. If you think he's happy with that, you got to be mistaken. He's going to go back to the lab and say, "This is what we need to do. We're here. We're banging on the door. We need to get in." And you're right. This game could have been a lot more lopsided, even if they converted 2 of those field goal attempts down in the red zone. Now we're talking about you got an extra 14 points to that 19, and it's an absolute blowout. What they were able to do. So the score is definitely not indicative of what the Bucs are capable of on offense. On defense, it was a good game. Cowboys are banged up at receiver. They lost another offensive lineman. They're already down an offensive lineman. It's going to be a different matchup week to week with other teams that are going to have a little bit more firepower. I don't expect 3 points or less every week, but the makings are there to be a really, really dominant unit and be one of the top 5 defenses in the league when it comes to points allowed. So, they're going to go back to the drawing board and start fresh this Saints week and come up with different ways to not only get the ball in the end zone, but keep the Saints out of the end zone. And it should be a really fun matchup against a division rival.
And how did, by the way, the offensive line as well, I don't think we've touched on, how do you think that group of the new guys, Gadecki, Hainsey, and Shaq Mason in the middle there, how do you think they kind of meshed and held up there in week 1?
There were some good plays and some bad plays, mostly good plays. These guys are run blockers first, and I think the game plan to get the ground game going early was extremely beneficial for Gadecki and Hainsey, and specifically Shaq Mason, who's one of the best run blockers in the league as a guard. Getting them that comfort level, right? You don't want to sit there and drop back 50 times, and where these guys are, they're good in pass pro, and they graded out pretty well in pass pro. But you don't want that to be the case. So to get their first start for 2 of those guys and be a run team predominant, you really saw their capabilities. Hainsey had a nice pull on one of Fournette's long runs. Gadecki and Wells just kind of split the defenders and gave a nice wide open hole for Fournette to get on a nice 10-yard gain there. So I liked what I saw. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be bumps and bruises. The sacks, unfortunately, both of them came on the left tackle. Micah Parsons, you can't say enough about the guy. Put an incredible spin move on Donovan Smith on the play he got injured down in the red zone. That forced a missed field goal. And then Josh Wells on the next drive, kind of just getting his feet wet on that drive. It's Micah Parsons again. He's gonna make the best left tackles, the best right tackles, the best guys in the league look silly sometimes with his just speed up with athleticism and pass ability. So, there are obviously 2 big sacks because you're in the red zone and you're trying to score. But I think for the most part they held up pretty well, and it's a good test when you can go against one of the top pass rushers in the league and only allowed 2 sacks. And, Leonard Fournette had a nice little chip block on him, too.
Yes. I was going to ask you about that because I couldn't believe it when I saw the back and forth on Twitter. And then, Von Miller jumps in, like, we got to outlaw this in the game. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, Micah came at me.
Oh, did he really? What did he say?
He came at me. I retweeted. I said, someone's mad. And he came after me, like, trying to backpedal. He's like, I'm happy, bro. I'm blessed. Came away with a hard-fought game with my health and loved ones. And, listen, I'm not about to go back and forth on a Twitter war with anybody. I respect the guy. He's a heck of a player. I kind of responded, good to hear. Good luck the rest of the way. Keep balling out, right?
Yeah. Good for you.
You're obviously mad. You're obviously mad. But, just good luck the rest of the season. especially now that Dak's out. You got another lineman out. Your wide receivers are out.
They're a disaster.
Safety's out. Like, good luck.
Well, and the other thing about it, I said this yesterday on the show, it's laughable that Von Miller and Micah Parsons are bitching about two guys hitting him at the same time. It's not illegal because it was up top. And one of the guy they're bitching at's a running back. The guy that they hold up. One guy holds him up and five other come and take shots at him. We're going to outlaw that too. I mean, for God's sakes, just because two guys hit you and you got knocked on your ass, look what happens to Leonard Fournette every play. Five guys hit him at the same time. So shut the F up.
Right.
I mean, come on, man.
Right. I mean, you look at the running back position, it's devalued because the length of a running back really is not as long as most other players in the field because they're taking such a pounding.
Exactly. I mean, it's just silly. All right, quickly moving ahead to the Saints. Obviously, this is a team that's had the Bucs number. And I think what the Bucs showed in the first game was a lot about the Saints. Line up in the I formation and have a fullback who was Keith leading through the hole. When's the last time we saw the Bucs do that? Counter trays. They're running counter trays where they're pulling 2 and 3 guys at a time. Jet sweeps. This is a running game that we have not seen from the Bucs. Creativity, a lot of moving parts, athletic offensive linemen. This is a whole different running game, and it worked to perfection. So now the Saints are going to say, okay, well, yeah, we pretty much been able to stop the passing game, but can they stop? And by the way, the Falcons ran for 1,000 yards on you. I like where this is headed for the Bucs.
Right, I think that's the biggest thing, right? And the Bucs have had to pass the last couple of games, and even against the Rams as well, they haven't been able to get the ground game going for the life of them. So this is a good sign. I don't think we see it slow down. It's a long season. You want to protect Brady from all those dropbacks. Now Bowles is going to be the first to tell you whatever it takes to win a game, we're going to do. If we have to pass it 50 times and run 13 times, we're going to do it, whatever it takes. But I think the onus has been all offseason on establishing the run, getting the run game going. You've got a tremendous group of run blockers in front of you. Pass protection will come, with more reps and more game experience, especially for those young guys. But that's the way you're going to do it. You can't let the Saints just come back and tee off on Brady all game. You got to establish the run game. And you're right, the 201 yards that, the Saints led up to the Falcons is a good sign that, maybe their run defense isn't as good as it once was.
Right.
The past few years. And if the Bucs can get that running game started on them, it's going to make it a lot easier for them to control the clock, control the possessions, stay on the field a little bit longer, and create that balance on offense that they're looking for to protect Brady and also to wear the opponents down. When you can physically force yourself onto opponents in the run game and wear them down like that, you notice it towards the end of the game, and you kind of noticed it towards the end of the game in that Bucs game as well, where it looked like the Saints, especially the cornerbacks and secondary, just didn't want to tackle Leonard Fournette anymore. They didn't want to do it. And you mentioned Keith. I think that Leighton Vander Esch, if he doesn't have to see him again this year, he'll be very excited about that because he was just punishing people out there with his blocks.
I loved it. You got one last one there?
Yeah, this one's completely off topic, JC, and I meant to ask you it last time you were on, but I'm going to ask it now. You had a controversial tweet to some not too long ago about the pub sub. Okay.
I knew this was coming.
Yes, about the pub sub. And listen, I agree with you, by the way.
What was the tweet?
He put a picture of a chicken tender sub here, the pub sub, and it's still overrated, ... And I saw a lot of people were getting on to him because we treat the pub sub like it's royalty here. I don't get it. JC doesn't get it. So JC, please explain to the people why this sandwich is a mushy, dry, overrated mess. Please.
Listen, pub subs, they're not bad, all right? But you got to understand, I'm from up north, and mom and pop shops rule the day. Every city's got their own house of pizza. There's multiple different Greek places, Italian places. Mom and pop's been in the family for 40 years, and they know how to make sandwiches.
Yeah.
And down here, you're faced with a pub sub, a Subway, Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's or whatever. And they don't put the love and they don't put the ingredients and the time that normal people, these people, shops up north doing their subs. So, I'll enjoy a nice pub sub. Don't chop my tenders and mix it with the barbecue sauce because it's just going to be a mushy mess.
Thank you.
I want my tenders to have crisp to them. And I got a lot of people are like, barbecue on a sub, that's where you're going wrong. No, a nice chicken tendy sub with some barbecue, bacon, and cheese. That's good. I'm not a veggie guy. I don't want veggies on my sub. I want all the meats. So, if you're a pub sub guy, that's great. I like pub subs. I'll get them here and there. I just don't think they're the end-all, be-all. And maybe down in Florida, because of the lack of mom and pops, everything's a chain down here, chain restaurants galore. It's tougher to find good subs, but that's just my take on the opinion. I don't think they're bad. I just think they're overrated.
I love what you're saying. By the way, West Tampa Sandwich Shop's got great sandwiches. There are some bricados, some local places here that are pretty good. But you don't do the tenders on a sub. I don't get the chicken tenders on the sub in the first place. That's not a sub. I had a Jersey Mike's Italian yesterday. I think Jersey Mike's makes a hell of an Italian if you do it the right way. Get the red relish, I love the veggies, the fresh veggies, and you got to have fresh veggies. By the way, if you're going to Subway, please stop. You got to have the fresh veggies, and Publix always does. So I got a Jersey, and so I like the Publix Italian, Boar's Head, of course, and that's good. It's good, but I don't get a chicken tenders. I don't get the whole thing about chicken tender sub. I don't get it. First of all, you're putting bread. You're putting bread on bread. Like the tender's breaded, and then you're putting bread on bread. That's a double carb. No, absolutely not. You want to get grilled chicken on a sandwich? Okay, but not. You can't double up. Come on.
Hey, to each their own, and that's the beauty of food, right?
That's
Everyone
right.
has their own opinions on it. There's really no right way to eat food unless you put the milk in before the cereal. Then you're a serial killer, pun intended. But I'll have to check out West Tampa Sandwich Shop. I'll check them out. But like I said, I don't know if it's just a little bit different. These mom and pops in there, they're making their own bread.
Yes.
It's the go-to for me.
Yeah, the La Teresita Cuban will get you good. That's a good one. They get the bread, the Cuban bread, really good. So we'll fill you in on some of the local spots. I got you.
People are going to come after me now after this pod.
That's okay. Listen, let them
Thanks
come.
a lot.
Let them come. Let them come. Because I'm with you on the chicken tender pub sub. It ain't all that. It ain't all. They make good subs now.
The bread's always hard too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's a 6.5 sub.
Yeah,
it's a 6.5 sub.
I agree. We're all in agreement.
You know what? To combat the hard bread, if you go over to the bakery, you can grab your own loaf and they'll use that. I've learned that trick from somebody. So that's what I do. I grab a soft loaf from the bakery and I make them use that instead of their hard, crusty bread that's been out for 12 days.
Ooh, wow. This is definitely shots fired right there. All right, my man. Thanks, JC. Appreciate it. We'll be listening to your show. Pimp all your content, by the way, before you go.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter at JC Allen NFL ALLEN, just like the quarterback. I was named Josh Allen first, so it's my name. But JC Allen NFL Pewter Report got tons of stuff, tons of content going on. I got my weekly Tuesday article, Game Changer, come out yesterday. It's going to come out every Tuesday, and every Tuesday we'll have Touchdown Tuesdays with myself and Antoine Winfield Jr. breaking down the game that was and the game that is, and some fun stuff in between. So. Thanks for having me on. Always a blast to be there. Will I see you over at camp today or at practice today? Or
no, I can't do it today. I've got other obligations that I really don't want to do. We don't need to get into that today.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh, my God. Trust me, I would much rather be in the locker room today, bro, for where I'm going. You have no idea. All right, thanks, buddy. I know you guys are covered, but we'll be on top watching Pewter Report. Thanks. Appreciate it. The great JC Allen. And he knows his subs, and he knows the good part of it. All right. We will take a break, and we'll come back on the other side. We'll get more into the Rays doubleheader. We hit it a little bit. We're going to hear from Kevin Cash, go through some of the highlights. And John Smoltz was on with us yesterday, and I thought he said some really interesting things to say about the Rays. We'll try to revive a little bit of that conversation. I thought one of the most important things he said was the Rays want to win the World Series. They got to spend more money. So we'll talk about that when we come back.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hi, my name is Mike Warner, a Navy vet. I've had problems with addictions throughout the many decades. Something saved my life, and that is the Heroes Mile program.
Hi, I'm Bill Lennox, retired Lieutenant General, United States Army. If you have any challenges in alcohol, drug, if you have PTSD, MST, think about Heroes Mile.
Heroes Mile, a recovery center for veterans by veterans. Call 1-888-VET-NOW-2 to learn more or visit heroesmile.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you in our second hour by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo and his team over there will take great care of you. We had Chris on yesterday, man. He was great. We'll pop that interview out, talking about nutrition, supplements, exercise, diet. If you're looking to lean up and just get in better shape, He's got some great ideas, cutting edge ideas that will really, really help you. So BAMMC.com, place to go. They will, you can go right to their website, set an appointment and get right in there. Don't worry. The cost is not too much, folks. You're just give them a call over there. They'll set you up and get you on the road to great health. It's much different than probably your regular doctor you've been seeing for many, many, many years. This is personalized medicine. It's not mass medicine like most doctors' offices do. It's personalized. Everything to what you metabolize in terms of drugs, food, and everything else is different. Everybody is different. Bodies are different. And that's where they really shine is getting you a plan that works specifically for you and your lifestyle. So go to BAMMC.com and get all the information there. Get an appointment. Please tell them JP sent you. Boy, we have ignited a debate here on sandwiches on the stream here. Jeremy Lowe says Jersey Mike's is the best. I'm going to go best. We'll go best. It's fantastic.
It's the best of the chains.
Best of the chains. Absolutely. In my mind, absolutely best of the chains. You love brocados. I mentioned brocados.
I love me some brocados.
Yeah.
It's hard to get in there, though. It's very hard to get in there. You have to have a little bit of time on your hands to get in there. But a big brocados fan. Another one that I'm going to mention, it's out in my neck of the woods on County Road 39 is Rick's Sandwich Shop.
Rick's.
Have you heard of Rick's
I have
Sandwich
heard
Shop?
of Rick's, yes.
Because I went to Durant. That's all we had was
Yeah.
Rick's Sandwich Shop on a 2-lane road, and it's just like this little shack. So that's
I grew up
fantastic.
with Mr. M's in Hollywood. If anybody's from Hollywood back in the day, we used to go to Mr. M's when we left Hollywood Hills High School, right down Sterling Road to Mr. M's Sandwich Shop. It was fantastic. The local places are always really good too.
Yeah, West Tampa Sandwich Shop, fantastic.
The Honey Cuban at West Tampa
Yeah.
Sandwich Shop is amazing. says Richie
Fantastic
P.
comment here from Lonnie Wilkins. That chicken tender sub is up there with the Popeyes biscuit with dryness. I absolutely agree. If you get to Popeyes, first thing you do is you throw that biscuit in the trash can. You don't eat that biscuit.
JP, when you get a chance, look up Miachi's Peruvian food truck. For mom and pop, they have something going. Where is that?
It's in St. Pete here, it looks like.
Miachi's?
4.8 stars on the old Googleator.
Yeah. Oh,
It's on
nice.
First Avenue.
Nice. But, Jersey Mike's, after the chains, I went there yesterday and it was quick in and out too. I go to the one on Kennedy and I get the giant. It's a little under $20 with tip and you eat it for lunch and dinner and you let it. Oh, it's so good. And they're always fresh. They cut the meat right there, which I think it makes a difference.
It does.
I really do.
It does. Well, look at when you go to like a Subway, look at the presentation in front of you.
Oh,
If you
God.
ever just look over the counter and look at the meat, does it look appealing to you?
It looks like it's like prefabricated.
Yeah, like look at the chicken. Look at the chicken.
Yeah, that ain't chicken. I don't think that's chicken. All of it. So, I think that's why. Who does the commercials with the guy that with all the prefab meat and everything? The great actor whose name escapes me now. But anyway, they think it's Jimmy John. Jimmy John's, by the way.
I've never had Jimmy John's, but I haven't heard good things.
Jimmy John's was like, you got to find the meat on that thing. You're like, is there any meat in here at all? You got to get double meat just to see the meat. The Jimmy John's. No, they're fast. There's a reason they're fast because they forget to put meat on the sandwich. That's why they're so fast, in my opinion. But yeah, Jersey Mike's is fantastic. That's my go-to here because I'd like to go to the local shops and support local. I really do, but there's none.
I liked when we were out over there. When we were out over there in on Ulmerton, we always went to Largo Subway.
Largo Subs is
Largo
good.
Subs
Yes.
was always really good.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, little mom and pop place there. They and some of those places where they have the older grill where it's got
you can only pay cash there. That's when you know it's good. Okay.
Like Cappy's Pizza. In Tampa, you can only pay cash. Those are the good places. Absolutely. If you got any other mom and pop places, especially, jump in there on our YouTube chat if you want, or you can always reach us at FanStreamJP, at Nick Geddes News, and at the JP Peterson Show as well. All right, let's get into a little bit more on the Rays. Yesterday, they dropped a doubleheader. Bullpen let them down. The offense is just, it's not doing it right now. For the past probably what have they lost 4 of the last 5?
Yep.
They have just not scored enough runs in situations where they could have won games. No question about it. Yesterday, they won 4-2 and then lost 7-2. 2 runs is just not going to get it done. And everybody's always talked about, and how do you get consistent offense, right? Aaron Judge, hit
number 57, by the way, last
He
night.
hit 56 and 57 last night.
Those guys cost money. They cost a lot of money. I'm not saying that the Rays got to go out and get Aaron Judge, but they're going to have to pay for proven power at some point if they want to win a World Series. It's something I put to John Smoltz yesterday, who joined us. Great interview, by the way. Catch the whole thing on our. You can go to our podcast and listen to it. Started about 11:38 yesterday. If you want to go right to it to hear the whole thing, talks a lot about the Rays. But I put this question to him. Basically, the Rays, and he said this, that they figured out the regular season. It's the postseason where they're not having any success, and it's because of a lot of different things. Here's his thoughts. What would happen if they actually spent the league average, which would basically double their payroll to like $140 million? If they combined analytics with actually going out and paying players, some good, especially some good dominant players. I know they tried to do it with Freddie Freeman last year, allegedly. But if they would just up their payroll and add, some more solid players at maybe at first base, or maybe a guaranteed starter that can give you a lot of innings, do you think that they would be unstoppable if they did that? What are your thoughts?
I think it would energize the franchise and maybe the fan base, but they haven't shown any evidence of being able to, other than the young rookie that they signed to a long contract, that's currently hurt. It just never seems to, in their resume, play out where they keep that player long term.
Right.
So their model is hard to argue. I mean, the running joke now is if they call and ask about a player, hang up. If you're the other team, hang up, because they've been getting the best of those trades and the best of those deals for a while now.
Yep.
That's credit to them. Is this a formula that long term? Like, I didn't think it would last this long from the standpoint of how they've gone about it. So credit them. Winning a World Series is a total different, monster, and I think it would go a long way if they were able. Somebody could spend that money to make a difference maker. That would give them a decided advantage to win a World Series.
Mm-hmm.
But if the goal is every year to win the World Series, they've proven that model to be pretty darn good. So that to me is the difference maker. It doesn't mean you have to have the highest payroll and gives you the best chance to win a World Series.
Right.
That's been proven. But what it does do is it does give that energy and that franchise the leg up on other teams when you have the ability to make more mistakes or add players that give you more depth. The Rays have to make everything work, and they have to this point.
Yeah.
That's the downside of a payroll that just doesn't allow you. It just doesn't allow you the luxury of making many mistakes, and they haven't. So credit them.
I think it's a great point that he makes, and when their margin for error is so slim, like last year when they lost all their experienced starters to injury, they had to go with 3 rookies in the postseason, and we said from the beginning of September that's where it's headed, and it ain't good. So you have a 100-win team that goes to the postseason that's out to a mediocre Boston team because you don't have any experienced starters. You don't have enough depth of guys who have proven they can throw 200 innings or 150, 160 innings. And you got to rely on young guys who have great arms, but it's postseason baseball. And we saw, Shane Baz just wasn't up for it.
Yeah, and I remember we talked with John right before that series. We did kind of a series preview, and that's what he said was his big concern. How are these young pitchers going to adapt and adjust to playoff baseball? They did not, right? And so were we really surprised that was the result last year? Not really. This year, I think things are a little bit different because we do have nearly a full year of evidence of Shane McClanahan being one of the best arms in baseball.
Right.
Drew Rasmussen has turned into a true number 2, and he's pitched like a 1 in the last month or so here. Jeffrey Springs, fantastic. I'm worried about Corey Kluber. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm worried about Corey Kluber. I wonder what his role will be in the playoffs because, midway through the season, we were talking about him, like he's the Charlie Morton of the staff because he was pitching really well and he was a veteran and he's had his moments, but he's had his moments where he just completely blows up like he did in New York. The ERA, don't look now, is I think mid-4s. Believe it or not, it's gone up a lot because of that start. So I don't know what his role is going to be. I mean, Yanni Chirinos was great last night, by the way, as well. So
2 straight starts.
And Glasnow
Really
pitched
good.
last night in AAA, so there's going to be a lot. That's
How'd
why
he do?
he threw 31 pitches. I don't think his command was as great, but I don't think he had many runs, 2 strikeouts. So, that's all it's about is getting those innings in there and not getting injured. So you take that. So he should be up, pretty soon here, hopefully. So there's a lot of competition. So I think they're in a lot better spot this year with the arms than they were last year. And to his point about spending money, let's give the Rays a little bit of credit here. I mean, I understand it's a 1 or 2 year extension, whatever it is, but they paid Tyler Glasnow a lot of money. They did.
Yep.
We'll see what happens with the Wander Franco contract in the future, but at the moment, they're set to pay him a lot of that money in the future. And honestly, I feel better about it because they're giving Glasnow that now. I feel more confident they're going to pay Wander that in the future. And I think a Shane McClanahan deal is coming down the pipe, maybe at the end of the season, whatever, and they're going to hitch their ride onto those 3 guys for the future. So I'll give them a little bit of credit there, but no doubt about it. If you look at the teams that win World Series, it is the teams that win money more or spend money more often than not.
Yeah, and again, we're not asking the Rays to do something they can't do. They have plenty of money to spend to the league payroll average. They've had it. They've chosen to take tens of millions of dollars in profits instead. And that's the truth, folks. That's how Stu Sternberg got $500 million into this new account, according to the lawsuit, which, by the way, goes down today. They're doing the hearing today. We're going to find out if the one count is still going to a jury trial, if the Rays appeal worked, if their payoffs, the appeal worked. We'll see. We'll see what happens, and that's going to be it's going to be a big deal. And by the way, if we probably won't get a decision on that today. The hearing is today, but according to the lawyers I talked to, we probably won't get a decision on that today. So we'll see. But yeah, I will give them credit. But again, here's Tyler Glasnow, who is a bona fide number 1 ace, and you signed him up basically for 2 years, $30 million. And that's what they paid Charlie Morton. And we've always lauded them for making, but that was something that they went out of their way that they normally haven't done with Charlie Morton. And it worked out great. Where they screwed themselves is not picking up the option that would have maybe brought them a World Series. And instead you got to go with 3 rookies and Atlanta wins the World Series.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It is what it is, honestly. But
but again, you want to keep giving them kudos and attaboys for doing stuff they should have been already doing.
Well, because I feel like
that's
sometimes we get a little intense against the Rays, and I'm trying to keep the big picture here. The team still wins 90 to 100 games every season.
They do.
It's still
They got the
amazing.
regular season
They do have the regular season figured out. I give them credit for finding ways to do it differently. I got that, but I am with you. If you spend 120 million, 130 million, that's all I'm asking. I'd feel a lot more better when you get to playoff time. That being said, I still feel like this lineup, the way it is healthy, and by the way, Brandon Lowndes doesn't look like he's going to be a part of that equation.
No.
Another back injury. It's the same back injury, and he was out 2 months the last time. I mean, I don't want to be too hard on Brandon Lowe, but it's not like he's a help in the playoffs to begin with. So, I mean, look at it from there. He hasn't been playing well when he's been healthy this year because it's hard to get, I think, in a flow there. But regardless of that, the rest of the lineup is really healthy. They've shown moments of brilliance here in this stretch. This is still a really good stretch of baseball, okay? And it's about getting into the dance and see what happens. And if you get to face Cleveland in the first round, which is how it would shake up now, I'm picking the Rays any day of the week in that series.
Absolutely.
So,
100%.
yeah, I still think they're a team that who wants to play them? Who wants to play them? Because there's no other team.
Not with their
There's
pitching.
no other team in the American League, save the Astros, because the Astros are a juggernaut, that have the pitching the Rays do. There's no other team in the American League.
Is it bad that I said last night, man, we have all these injuries to these really, really good pitchers, and we had them all year long. How the hell does Colin Poche stay healthy all the time? Is that bad? I'm not wishing
You're
injury.
rooting for injuries here. I'm rooting for a DFA today, but
I don't want him to get
I haven't
hurt.
gotten my Top Gun bomb yet. No DFA.
I don't want him to get hurt. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just like, wow, everybody else, and he could just maybe use a break for a while. Just a mental break.
Listen, some guys get shelled, and then the next day they magically end up on the IL, which is they're fake injuries. I'm so like Sonny Gray is notorious for this for his career. the old fake injury IL stint after I got shelled.
A little hammy. You look like you pulled up a little bit there at the end. That way you don't have to waste an option. You just a little 10-day IL. No. Looked at it. Maybe when he was walking, he was moping off the mound after getting battered. Maybe that I thought I saw a little hitch in his giddy up.
You did? A little Kyle Snyder in there?
I don't think there's any question. I don't think that would be a bad idea.
So
All right.
let's just get back into the States so we can get Rayleigh back in the games, please.
Would be nice. Would be nice. Would be nice. All right. We'll take a quick break. We're going to come back with something maybe a little different. And then at 11:30, we're going to talk to John Gerber, who's going to give us some winners in PGA and talk a little golf. But have you been feeling a little irritable lately? I have. Have you? I mean, have you been feeling a little off?
Every damn day.
For about the last week? Was it not the wackiest freaking NFL weekend, opening weekend of all time?
And college football.
College football. There's just crazy shit happening
My
everywhere.
computer, we've had
technology issues,
snafus
right?
all of a sudden.
Yeah, everywhere. And everywhere. So you want to know what's going on? When we come back, I'm going to tell you what's going on. And keep your mind open. Keep your mind open. And we're going to let you know what's happening. And I think we can make a case. So start thinking about what's been going on in your life and tell me something's not up. We'll reveal when we come back.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves, lawgroup.com. If you have had a totaled car over the past 3-4 years and the insurance company didn't give you as much money as you thought it was worth, well, they do that all the time, as a matter of fact. So you have a case, and you can find out what it's worth. Just give them a call at the Jeeves Law Group, the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves, lawgroup.com. Tell them you heard it on the JP Peterson Show and said, hey, I had a situation with an insurance company. It doesn't have to just be a totaled situation, by the way, where I don't think I got what I was supposed to get. And they told me that's all I could get. So that's not true. Believe it or not, the insurance companies lie to you. That's why you need an attorney, and a great one at the Jeeves Law Group. So go to jeeveslawgroup.com. Give them a call. It's a free call, and they'll tell you what's going on, tell them your situation, and you might be able to get some money back. There's a lot of expenses that are involved when your car gets totaled and you got to replace it. You probably spent more than you had to. So why not find out? Find out. Give them a free call, Jeeves Law Group. Tell them you heard it on the JP Show and say, you know what? I think I deserve more money. And you might be right. So check it out. All right. So I kind of set up this segment. If you weren't listening, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. There's probably crazy stuff going on with your phone, your technology. My computer's been whacked all week. We saw what happened in the NFL this weekend, probably the craziest missed field goals, crazy stuff going on. Same thing in college football. We had 3 Sun Belt upsets. Marshall beats Notre Dame.
UCF's offense was broken.
Texas A&M loses.
Bucs couldn't score in the red zone.
Tom Brady couldn't score in the red zone. What the F is going on? I mean, I've been irritable. It's just been, you're just not feeling yourself? Well, my girlfriend, Ashley, is an expert in astrology, and she joins us now to tell us what the hell is going on with the moon is in Pisces. Honey, will you please tell everybody what's happening, and it's not their fault? And you, as you did last week, you had a meltdown, and you blamed it on the retrograde, and I accepted it. So explain to people what the hell's going on.
Well, first of all, I would like to be introduced as Ashley the astrologer. That has a nice ring to it.
It really does. It really does. So Ashley the astrologer, please tell us what the hell's going on.
Well, first of all, it wasn't just retrograde that contributed to my breakdown. Not only did we have Mercury go into reverse cowgirl on September 9th, we also had a full moon, which was in Pisces, which is the ruler of huge emotions. So there was a lot going on that specific day.
So that was last week. Right.
That was on the 9th, correct.
Right.
So, but not only do we have Mercury in reverse, we also have 5 other planets joining her, including Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus. I know everyone can laugh.
So Uranus is in retrograde. That explains everything
yes,
when Uranus is in retrograde. Yes.
Is in reverse.
Yeah.
And Pluto is also going backwards. So, yeah, if you're feeling off right now, if you've been having strange interactions with people, your technology is messing up, which I believe your technology messed up even as recently as the beginning of your show this morning.
Of the show.
Correct?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we got in to do our pregame show in Dallas, and the lights were off. Of course, that was a brownout because Texas can't figure out their energy supply. So this is where. Do you think it's affecting players too?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to affect anybody that's a human.
So how did your phone is failing too? So you're cutting out a little bit. So my goodness, how does it manifest? Like what's going on with people? They feel different. They feel angry. They feel off.
Oh, they feel off. I mean, it's bringing a very chaotic yet transformative energy right now, all depending on the way people can channel it and use it.
So what is there a suggestion on how we handle this? Do we just get under the covers and
decision making processes are really messed up during this time? So that definitely could play a huge role in why some of these athletes are maybe not necessarily doing things on the field that make sense or are detrimental to their game.
And so if you've had a fight with your spouse this week, you can blame it on this, right? You can tell them that's
absolutely.
Yeah. And you get a free pass. Is that what you're telling me?
If anyone needs a cop out.
All right. I'll be honest with you folks. I've never been a big believer in astrology and these things, but since she's been telling me about this stuff, it's spot on. It's been spot on. I got to give you credit, hun. And now I know.
It is. I mean, you told the people about your Memphis incident as well, right? Explain
Yes,
that.
we did. I don't know if we did it on this show. Yeah. So this happened. So, and John Gerber, who's coming up next, will attest to this. Hell, we'll just bring him in now. Bring Gerber in as well, from Dallas. So John Gerber, our DSP media partner, because John, we haven't told this story on our show yet. So John gets my ticket to go to Dallas, right? And he sends me the itinerary, and it says direct from Orlando to Dallas because I was over in Orlando this weekend.
Well, it didn't say direct. It didn't say direct. It just said it didn't say direct. Let's get that clear first.
No, because the thing you sent me had a line from MCO to Dallas. There was no anything in between.
It did.
So the itinerary. See, Ashley's backing me up on this. So I'm like, okay, get on plane lands, get off plane. Right? I'm like, that's what I'm doing. So I'm on the plane. And I'm listening to a great podcast, by the way, so I'm not hearing any announcements on the plane. I get off, if plane lands, I get off the plane. And John's supposed to pick me up in Dallas. And so I get off the plane. I'm going out to baggage claim. And I'm out there, and I'm like, John, where are you? And I'm texting him, and he's like, I'm right here. And I'm like, all right, let me send you my location so you know exactly where I am. I send him on my location. He texts me back. He goes, you're in Memphis, you effing idiot. The plane stopped in Memphis, and then the same plane was going on to Dallas. So if they get an itinerary from Southwest, it's not going to show that. Since I didn't make the reservation, I didn't know. I'm covering up the fact I'm a complete idiot. But so I got back on the plane and got to Dallas. But but this is what's happening. It's all these retrograde planets, Gerber. That's what's going on.
I have flown into Dallas Love Field probably since I've been living here 3 years, probably 40 times. In the places that you thought you were at Love Field, I was like, is this a different place? Like, I was like, what am I going? I thought at some point it was me, not you. Yes. I thought I was questioning myself.
Well, we figured it out. It's nobody to blame. It's all these planets in reverse retrograde, or as Ashley likes to call it, reverse cowboy. That's even better.
Reverse cowgirl.
Reverse cowgirl. That's right.
Can we find out if Ashley's for hire? Can we please hire her? Because I need a little help myself.
Well, I tapped into this for gambling, John. So you'll love this because you were so bad on Saturday. You gave me all those bad picks.
I knew it was coming. It was coming at some point. You were going to say it at some point. I
had to block you out and go 9 for 10 on Sunday. And my big play was everybody's effing up. Everybody's effing up. We can see this in the 1 o'clock games. So I'm going all unders in the afternoon games, and they all hit except for I think one. So yeah. I'm like, I used the reverse cowgirl and said everybody's effing up. So I'm just going to go under. And there we go. It was big winner. So you can use it for gambling as well. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ashley. We're going to talk about golf gambling now. So you can go back and study a reverse retrograde or something. Thank you, hon. See that? Now we figured it all out. That's why everything's going crazy. Welcome, John Gerber. How are you, PGA Pro?
I'm doing well, fellas. Good morning.
Good morning to you. So first of all, tell me about last week. And you picked the winner last week. You made big money last week.
Yeah, we usually just don't jump into the European Tour very often, but it looked like a really good spot for us at the BMW Championship. That's their premier event over there. And, I kind of looked at the field and, we had a couple weeks off from playing the PGA Tour before this week started. But if I looked at that field and all the way since 2010, one of those, like a big name has always won that tournament ever since 2010 when Simon Kahn won. So no one really knows who Simon Kahn. So I kind of looked at it to where that you could eliminate probably half of the field when you look at something like that. So that really helped us. And, I just thought it was a really good spot that Shane Lowry hadn't really been playing well or finishing well. He's been playing really well. I think his defeat in that playoff in the Honda Classic really kind of hurt him through the year, but he hadn't really been playing bad. And that was his first win since the British Open the British Open. So, it was really good to see him win and to have him in the field. And he was the favorite. He was one of the 2 or 3 favorites in the field. So that kind of told me, there was a little bit something there that people knew that I didn't, because I don't really follow the European Tour or the DP World Tour that often. but that kind of lended me to where I liked it. And I knew a guy that was really playing well that I played with in South America a while back, Fabrizio Zanotti. We had him to finish in the top 10. And he had a great tournament. He had been trending really well. So we cashed in on Shane Lowry at 18-1 to win, and then Zanotti at 1,200 plus 1,200 to finish in that top 10. So we profited last week 28 plus 2,800 profit to get our total for the year to $25,120 or units, or however you want to call it. So it was a nice profitable week moving forward. But listen, if Sunday didn't come through with Shane Lowry, I wasn't going to hear the end of it, as much as I lost for you apparently on Saturday. So thanks, Shane Lowry. How about that?
We don't bring you on to bet college football. We bring you on to bet golf because that's what you know. And so keep your college picks to yourself. So let's use this moment here to explain to folks who maybe don't gamble a lot on golf, your system, because you got to kind of stick to the system. Now, we're not saying you have to bet $100 on each of these every week. You can do 10, you can do 5, whatever you want to do, your unit is. But the bottom line is last year you were up. This is documented, folks, documented on Twitter. He makes his bets and puts them out there. Last year's what, 72,000?
Yeah, no, little under 70,000. I think we had it at 69,820 or something around there. But we had 9 wins going into last year. But the system, it doesn't really matter how much you bet, whether it's a $10 or $5. That's irrelevant. But stay consistent on your betting strategy in terms of the monetary value. Don't try to bet $20 here or $100 here. Stay consistent on your money, or we call it money management. But play the plays. You have to play all the plays. So we'll put out 4, outright winners, 2 top 10s, 2 top 20s at the beginning of the week, and then we'll do our matchups. But you have to play all the plays, because there'll be a week that you'll kick yourself if you just don't play the whole board, as we say. And then we'll punch out, like I said, matchup through Saturday and Sunday. And I like to wait till Saturday and Sunday. I want to see how the guys are playing. I want to see how the guys are reacting a little bit. So there's a lot of variables. I want to see the weather. Weather means a lot from Saturday to Sunday to look at that, because the weather has a tendency to change a lot. So yeah, there's a lot to it. But play the board. Like I said, if it's $5, $10, $100, just play the board, and then you'll have a successful year.
And when he's talking about your unit, you put what, $100 on each unit? So
I'm $100 a play for the first week. Yeah, and then our matchups through the week, which this year we're 91-50 in matchups. So basically, basically Saturday and Sunday, I'll look at the board and see who's playing who head to head. So that's our record. But the cool part is it wasn't really cool. So last week at the BMW Championship, that was our 7th win of the year, and we've had 6 second place finishes.
Damn.
So, we've been pretty close, probably 30-40% of the year with outright winners. So it's been a solid year, and we're going to continue that this week at the Fournette Championship.
We're giving you free money, folks. This is free money, and Gerber is going to do it all season for us. And I didn't even realize it. I'd heard the PGA was going back to the single season in the year, but that doesn't start this year. We're still in the wraparound format, so we've already started the next season. So last week you got a win. Let's talk about the Fournette Championship here in Silverado Resort and Spa in Napa, California, where we all wish we were this week. Who you got?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Last year Max Homa won this golf tournament. It's one of those, it's the beginning of the year, but it gives a lot of opportunities for these young guys coming off the Korn Ferry Tour to get some starts at the beginning of the year. But I only have one guy on my card that's a rookie this year. I like some guys that's had a solid season this past year, that this is kind of their second go around at the Fournette Championship at Silverado or Silverleaf, where they're playing. And my first pick this week is Corey Connors at 16-1. He's played this tournament. This tournament kind of bounced around a little bit before they found a home. Johnny Miller hosts the tournament. So they found a home right there in Northern California. But I really like Corey Connors this week at 16-1. I think he's going to try to build some momentum for next week's President's Cup. So look for him to have a solid week and get back into some form for next week. Our guy, this second pick, Sahith Theegala at 28-1. This is his second time playing this tournament. Look for this guy to have a really breakout year. It's his second year on the PGA Tour. He's made some big mistakes his first year when he had some opportunities to win the golf tournament. But I think he's going to learn from that. Another year with his caddy learning how he is to kind of eliminate some of those mistakes. So he's one of those guys I look forward to have a really big year, and he's in our second slot this week at 28-1. Another guy that kind of fits that category, it's been practicing here at our Dallas facility, is Davis Riley. He's his second year on the PGA Tour. He's kind of similar to Sahith Theegala. His second go around there. If you watch this guy hit golf balls, he's not quite Adam Scott. But boy, let me tell you something. This guy is special, and I thought he had an outside chance maybe to get on that President's Cup team, but Davis Love decided to go with the veteran Kevin Kisner to round out that spot. But look for Davis Riley to have a great week this week at 35-1. And our ham sandwich this week is Troy Merritt at 50-1. He's had some success at this place. He fits the golf course well. He's not the bomber like Theegala or Davis Riley is, but he's really consistent, having some success going back there. And again, you hear me talk about this a lot, is he plays very well on this type of grass.
Right.
So look for him as a ham sandwich, kind of an outside shot. 2 top 10s this week. Maverick Neely at plus 290. You know, this guy's from that area. He knows that golf course very well. He went to Stanford and he grew up in that area. So he's kind of in a home ground there. He's not going to be out in the vineyards drinking all that wine like some of these other guys do. So look for him to have a solid week there at plus 290, finishing the top 10. And our friend of the show, our buddy Brandon Steele at plus 490. He's won this golf tournament on a different golf course a little further south in San Jose, but it really lends for him to being comfortable with and his surroundings there in Northern California. So look for him to continue his strong form up there in Northern California at plus 490 to finish in the top 10. 2 top 20 picks this week. We got a guy, Justin Suh, plus 275. If you haven't really heard of Justin Suh, he's a rookie on the PGA Tour this year. He kind of came out in that crop of Matthew Wolff and Colin Morikawa. He was touted the same as those guys, but just hadn't really found his place or his feet yet on the PGA Tour. But the guy's got tremendous talent. So look for him to have a really cool breakout year, potentially maybe be Rookie of the Year on the PGA Tour. But we like him in this spot at plus 275. And our final pick at top 20 is Ches Reavie at plus 325. This guy's never finished out of the top 20 at this event, at this golf course. You know, so I really think that he feels comfortable. He's not a long hitter, but, you know, he'll probably hit 90% of the fairways this week up there in Northern California. So look for him to have a solid showing this week. So that's who we got this week on our card.
Love it. Love it. Now, far be it from me to question your golf betting, but I read in another publication that Max Homa, who is the defending champion, who's going to be on the President's Cup next week, is one of the favorites. I haven't heard you mention him at all. So why the odds aren't good enough, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes when we do play this, it doesn't he might be the favorite and an odds-on favorite, but that doesn't mean our value it's a value bet.
Exactly.
Right? Just because he's a favorite, I have to risk a little bit too much because he had such short odds to risk that, right? So I wasn't going to risk it to get very little money back. So sometimes the guy that I really like, and especially in our matchups, you know, if we look at our matchups, you know, I might really like the guy, but you might be laying a 160 to win 100, and that's sometimes it just doesn't work out when it comes to that. So there's a little strategy there.
No, our old friend Chris Thomas, who was very big on that. It's not necessarily who the favorite is; it's where you get the best value.
That's right.
When the odds are short and you're betting a certain amount of money, it doesn't behoove you to risk that. So I'm totally on board with that. And folks, if you don't know, he talks about the grass because he's been out there and played in tour events. He's a PGA Tour player, or was back in the day. And then you just handicap wine drinking as well, which is something else you know a lot about. So you know the guy, and you know a lot of these guys out there playing because they work with you at your facilities. So you know the guys that like to enjoy the wine and the guys who maybe don't. This is excellent handicap information. Is what my point is. You're handicapping grass and wine.
This week for sure, that wine up there can get dangerous in some of those places. And you look at the beginning of the year, some of these guys that they're not really grinding on their PGA Tour card, and it's one of the favorite weeks for the wives also.
Exactly.
So, you'll find out a little bit. Some of these guys that are single or their wives are not there. It might seem kind of corny or whatever, but it is true. Listen, they're focusing on golf, but we got to go back to the wine. We have to go back to the vodka. You know, it's the vodka for me, not the wine. So
that's true.
We got to set that straight.
But it's funny because now you got a handicap. Like whenever this guy's wife is with him on tour, he doesn't even make the cut. It's a freaking disaster, right? Because that stuff happens, right?
Our funny part is what we always joke about, which is true, but we never bet Johnny Vegas in cities that have hot women. We just don't because he's too distracted. So any place, if you look at his 2 wins, he played in places that there's no women. So listen, it's a running joke at DSP Media, but it is really true. Trust me, it is true.
This is the type of handicapping we get from you, bro. This is why you're so successful. It's not just about who's hot now, but it's like this is the stuff you got to know. You got to know because it matters. Because the guy's head, right, wherever his head's at, that's where his golf game will be directly affected, right?
100%. 100%.
Absolutely.
And apparently it's the astrology also, according to Ashley. So we might have to put that into one of our handicapping little slots to finish it out.
Yes. Find out which sign is benefiting from this reverse cowgirl retrograde, whatever the hell going on.
That was beautiful.
That's beautiful stuff, isn't it? All right, Johnny, tell folks where they can find your content, your Twitter, and get all your picks. And nice little graphic you put up every week. We'll retweet it as well.
Yeah. You can follow us. You can follow me on Twitter at jgerberpjpro. You can follow us every week at 5:30 to 6 Central Time at our studios at DSP Media in Dallas, Texas, on our show From the Rough. We'll give you more insight, more analysis on these picks, and we'll have a little bit of fun talking a little bit of golf and things of that nature. But definitely follow us from 5 to 6 on From the Rough podcast on DSP Media.
It's fantastic. I'll retweet your picks right now. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate it. Thanks again for all your hospitality this week, man. It was awesome in Dallas and having Brady on and Tim and Colby, the whole group there. Thank you so much. And we look forward to having a great connection with you guys there in Dallas and Columbus as well. A lot of great things happen, and we really appreciate your hospitality and your partnership. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. We love to have you in Dallas, and appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, cool. All right, we'll take our final break here, and we'll come back and wrap things up. We could talk a little college football, some other NFL stories as well, and we've got more sandwich shop recommendations that we got to get in as well. Big sandwich talk day, so we'll get that when we come back. Stay with us.
On here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo and his medical team will get you right. He was on with us yesterday talking exercise and nutrition, which he has a couple of different degrees in from the University of Florida. Expert in the field. Check out that interview. We did it yesterday about 10:45 in the show yesterday. Really good. We'll put it up on social media as well. So check them out, BAMMC.com. Also by the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves, Jeeves, lawgroup.com. If you've recently had an insurance issue with your car, maybe you didn't get the settlement you were looking for, they are experts in that field. So give them a call. Go to jeeveslawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you. All right, got to get into a couple other things that we haven't hit today. A piece you wrote for outsider.com, Nick, about Gisele Bündchen. She was on the cover of Elle magazine, and I thought she had some very interesting quotes that kind of talks about the situation that's going on right now with and it's, it's really no secret. It's not something that Tom hasn't talked about in the past, but I think she was very honest about what's going on with them.
Yeah, this is kind of like her first words on everything. And the money quote here that she had was when she was asked about her concerns of Tom Brady returning to the Bucs. So here it is. She said, "Obviously, I have my concerns. This is a very violent sport, and I have my children. I would like them to be more present, and I would like him to be more present," she said. "I've definitely had those conversations with him over and over again, but ultimately, I feel that everybody has to make a decision that works for them. He needs to follow his joy, too."
Interesting.
And then she declined to speak on the 11-day absence that Tom Brady took during training camp.
So, again, we're not trying to get down into his business and his marital issues, but I just think everybody's wondering what was going on. And we had some really good information that we gave out a few weeks ago about where he was. And we were told he was overseas working on his family stuff, and he'll be back and ready to go. And that's exactly what's happening. Whether, there's a divorce in the offing, we don't know that. There are reports out there about that. I don't think anybody knows. But the bottom line is Tom needed to get his head right, whatever was going on. And there have been reports that she has left the compound, so to speak. And the kids were down in Miami, I believe, enrolled in school down there. There have been some of those reports, but whatever. It looked like to me, I don't think Tom played poorly the other day. I don't think there was any, when I looked at the tape and looked at the red zone issues, to me, those were protection issues, which has nothing to do with his marriage. Those were protection issues. He didn't have time to go through his reads and get downfield. Parsons had a sack on one. He had to throw away a couple others. I think he probably missed, by my count, 2 throws in the game that maybe he should have had. Otherwise than that, I thought Brady played spot on. But clearly, this is the issue that's happening with him.
Yeah, and I think she had some other quotes in there about it, being her turn, and now she's 42, I think, and she wants to try. She has other things in her career that she wants to check off, and she's kind of rebooting that a little bit here, and following some of her dreams that she's had to sacrifice to take care of the kids. So again, these are issues and situations that only Tom Brady can relate to in regards to being a top of the food chain football player. Nobody else in the league can really compare themselves to what he's doing because, like we said, his kids are much older than most other players in the NFL that do have kids. So these are issues that are, exclusive to him. And the fact that she felt comfortable enough to speak out about it just a little bit is interesting. But
timing is interesting.
Timing is interesting. I think these quotes actually, the way I've understood it, I think she said all this before the break happened. And this was just released now, from what I understand.
Yeah, typically these cover stories are done, the interviews are done 3, 4, 5 months in advance.
Yeah.
So this was probably when he was going through the whole retirement, unretirement thing and trying to get to Miami, which I think, this is my personal opinion. I've said it many times on the show. I think that's what that whole retirement was about. I think she wanted to get their life started in Miami. They're building a house down there. There's been some reports that has stopped, that the building is stopped on that, but don't know if those are true or not. But yeah, and I think that's what he wanted to do to kind of help bring the situation. I'll play one more year and I'll play in Miami. We can get our life going, blah, blah, blah. And then when the Bucs certainly weren't okay with that and they called his bluff, he came back and played in Tampa. I think that probably caused a rift. I think it did.
Maybe.
But the title of the cover story is Giselle Rides Again. I feel very fulfilled as a mother and as a wife, and now it's going to be my turn. So there you go. And how do you begrudge her that? We make jokes about it, and they are jokes, folks. And and when he threw the interception the other day, I said that's definitely Giselle's fault. And couple people got on me. I'm like, it's satire, folks. Obviously, it wasn't her fault, but a lot of people are talking about that, and it's the stupidest thing in the world. It's not her fault. This is just life. If you've had a relationship, you go through these things. That it just happens. They just happen to be the most famous couple in the world, but they have the same issues that everybody has. Individual people have different wants, and sometimes those things don't match up. So you got to work yourself through them, and it's hard. But it seems to me that he's in a good space now.
It has no impact on his on the field product, none whatsoever. So, any fears, concerns about that, I think were answered on Sunday night.
Yeah, I would 100% agree.
Yeah, you wanted to get into this the Aaron Judge stuff here.
Yeah. Well, everybody's bringing it up because what is the real single season number? Is it 61 of Roger Maris? I believe it is.
Oh, here we go.
I believe it is. I do not count any Barry Bonds' 73.
Oh, but you enjoyed it when it was happening, didn't you?
No, I didn't. Not at all. It's fake. I said it then. I'll say it now. No, it's fake. He's a different human being. He's a freaking android, whatever the hell that was a totally different dude. And I heard Dan Patrick talking about it this morning, and he said he's talked to other baseball players. And when Bonds was watching McGuire and Sosa do his thing, he said, watch what I'm going to do. He was pissed because all the attention was on him. It was like, let's see what happens when I do roids, basically was the subtext of that. And we saw, and I'm sorry. When you want to sit there, yes, does he have to put the bat on the ball? 100% he has to do it. He was a great player, but that means you hit 56. That means you hit 53. If you're going to go to 73, it's because you're getting an extra 10, 20, 30 feet on, balls that were warning track power now become home runs. And that's what it was. So I know that wasn't the case when Roger Maris did it. And I'm pretty sure, but we don't know. Aaron Judge is clean. At least they're testing now.
Well, let's be real here, though. Okay, the game, in all respect to Roger Maris, the game back then, completely different. I'd argue a lot easier to hit those home runs. I mean, you talked about it now. Those guys nowadays, and look at the pitchers. Do you follow the Pitching Ninja account on Twitter?
Yeah.
Look at these pitches. I'm sorry, but Babe Ruth would be absolutely fooled out of his mind against these pitches. A lot of those guys would.
I think you have to compare.
It's hard to compare eras because
but you have to compare at the time. Like I think when Ruth hit 61, the next closest was 34.
Yeah, at the time, nobody was really hitting home runs.
The next closest to Judge is 37, I believe.
Yeah, and Kyle Schwarber, I think, is second in home runs. He's been cooled off since the All-Star break and still is second in the league in home runs with 37. Nobody has really had outstanding second halves in the home run department outside of Aaron Judge. And
we could say that the reason the pitchers are so tough now is because they're bigger, stronger, and they have modern physical improvement techniques. And Maris would have the same thing if he was, the batters, by the way, have better strength, better nutrition, better everything.
Yeah, they do. Right? It all goes into it. Funny little commentary from Richie P said Roger Maris did it on fried chicken and beer.
Right.
Damn right about that. And what was it? Mickey Mantle smoking cigarettes all the time.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
Just a completely different
I just
game.
always think that guys that were standouts in any era would be standouts in any era. They'd figure out a way because they're bigger, they're just smarter, they're better, they're more competitive. I think you got to compare eras in terms of what did you do against the people that you did it against. And I think that's as far as you can go, So, and Roger Maris was so much better, or Babe Ruth was so much better than everybody else. And Judge is doing that this year as well. But, is he, maybe he's come up with something that we don't know about. Who knows? I tend to give him more credit. Barry Bonds was clearly, without question, doing roids, and it helped him. It helped him tremendously. Because recovery is a big part of that, going from day to day.
Well, Aaron Judge has this on his side. I mean, he's pissed off about the Yankees not giving him a contract in the offseason, and he's taking out all his aggression on everything. It almost feels like we're watching like the Yankees, and then we're watching Aaron Judge, if that makes sense. Like it's like he's on his own little team, and he's like competing like as a Yankee, but also against the Yankees, if that makes sense, because he's really trying to prove these guys wrong. And I tell you what, every single day it's another home run. That price goes up.
That's right.
And the rhetoric from Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone is shocking to me. I think they're going to let this guy walk. It's crazy.
You think the boss would let that happen?
Who's the boss? The boss you're talking about ain't here anymore.
I know, but you think he would have let that happen? Hell no. He'd have signed him 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And
Steinbrenner would have signed him forever ago.
And the deal would be looking like a steal right
Well, listen
now.
to this. I learned this in the Captain documentary. They were so stingy, they didn't even want to have Derek Jeter back in the fold. And this was in like 2011 because he had like a down year in 2010. And they remember, I don't know if you recall much of that, but there was a big contract dispute there. And Derek was like, I mean, are you really not going to let me come back and play here?
Yeah.
And it kind of created division in his relationship with Cashman. So they're known to do that. If they did it to Derek Jeter, they'll do it to Aaron Judge.
And they haven't won a World Series since 2009.
No.
When the boss was still there.
So.
Yep.
There you go.
All right, great show today. That was fun. Hope you guys caught all of it. If not, just tap that app and it'll start right up for you. Download the app, FanStream Sports, all one word. You can please like and subscribe to our YouTube page. You can go back and listen and watch that anytime on there as well. Same thing with Twitter. Same thing with Facebook. So we really appreciate you guys listening in and watching each and every day. Tell everybody else. Retweet it, please. Retweet it for us. Put it all over your social media and tell everybody how great the show is. We would really, really appreciate that. We'll be back tomorrow and Friday. We got big Bucs, big college football guests coming on. So see you then. Have a great day, everybody.